Good evening, everyone. This is Pamela Marie Edmunds. I am your host of Love Never Dies. I'm a medium, evidential medium, animal communicator, pet detective, teacher, radio show host. My list is lengthy. Been around learning a lot so I can share it with others. And want to let you know that tonight's show should be I'm going to call it enlightening. And it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to our guests tonight. I have June Elaine Evans and Jerry Evans. And their show tonight is Married Between the Two Worlds. And let's see what else I want to share. Next week's show, before I forget, will be Messages of Love from Heaven, which is a show where I personally do a solo show. And those people who come to join us in the Zoom room get a chance at getting a loving, healing, brief message from the spirit side of life, mediumship. So tonight I'm going to talk about our guests. As I said, I have two wonderful beings. June Elaine Evans herself is also an evidential medium. She's an author. She is an animal communicator. She is the founder, and I'm going to say CEO of the Pet Detectives International. She's also a healer working with Saint Germain and Reiki. And she is a wife. How does that fit? Yeah, she is a wife. She's here in the physical. She's here in the Zoom room. Are you there, June Elaine?
Yes. Hi, Pamela.
And
Thank you for having us.
Yes, it's wonderful. I need to say your partner, who is not here physically, but he is here spiritually, Jerry Evans. He was the one that first got you and I together a number of years ago, didn't he?
Yes. He led me right to you. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
He led both of us to each other. Let's put it that way.
That was how many years ago? 6, 7?
Something like that. Yeah. And Jerry, want to share a little bit about Jerry? Because he's not in physical form. So where is he?
Where is he right now? We're sitting on our bed together, feet up, both of us. I can't see spirit. That's the one thing that Jerry cautioned me when I first started learning how to communicate with Jerry. I asked if I could please see him. I was grieving, of course, at the beginning there, still grieving. And I said, why can't I see you? And he said, don't ask to see me. You can't just see me. If you ask to see spirit, you see all spirit, and you're just not cut out for that. Oh, who's that pretty lady who just popped in? Here she is.
It took me a little while.
And there's Lori. Hi, Lori.
Hey,
Good.
Lori.
Welcome. That's Clarion. And you said you thought you heard Lori, or was expecting possibly a couple Loris. Let's see. So right now we are on record, okay? And I wanted to say welcome to everyone who's popped in, and at the doorbell rings to let us know you're coming in.
Thank you, ladies.
I have June Elaine Evans here in the physical, and she's starting to talk about where's Jerry, and where is Jerry right now?
Yeah, well, Jerry, the way he explains it to me is, well, he's sitting we're on the bed, like I said. We're sitting on the bed, and I can't see him, but I sense and feel him next to me on the left. I actually prop pillows up and everything for him because, I know he's here. And that's why I keep telling people out there, please you know, be respectful for your loved ones. If you're having a gathering, a reunion, a party, or whatever, I don't care if people think what people think. Um, I'll put it, I put things up for him, out for him, I guess I'd say, or whatever. A chair, and you do what makes you happy. These two ladies that have joined us here, Claire Ann Stevenson and Lori Smith, both of these beautiful women have sons in the spirit world who are, well, I want to say my guides, but they're not really mine. They don't belong to me. They're with their moms, but they let me borrow them for whatever. So they understand what I'm saying. It's not just about husbands and wives. It's about mothers and
Right.
sons and mothers and daughters and all. They know, Clarion knows, and so doesn't Lori know that their sons are with them.
Well, we all have many beings who stick around with us, and we just need to be open to realize that they're there.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. For some reason, I'm wanting to suggest to you, if you're up in the bed
Yes.
and Jeremy's beside you, what would happen if you were to turn your closest hand to him over? Can he put his hand in yours and you could possibly feel it?
He gave me a kiss tonight before we started, but I could not feel his kiss. And if I put my hand over there, I can't feel anything. However, if it depends. There are some times when I know, we've been doing this, everybody out there who's listening, anybody who's going to listen to this. This started back in 2010 when Jerry transitioned from cancer. Yep. And about a month after Jerry passed, that's when I started getting what I would describe as paranormal things around my bed at night, snapping yep. sounds and things that were strange. And I just heard June. That's all I heard once, like whispered, June. And I wasn't afraid or anything else. But from there on, unfolds a story of a 10-year relationship, marriage and it's going to be in books. It's going to have to. Nobody's going to sit and listen to all of what transpired between us. But I knew something was, I thought at first I was crazy, but then I realized that there's something else. So what I would say to people tonight, if you're on the fence, obviously if you're listening or if you're here, then you believe. And yes. If you're on the fence, please consider doing what you do with any subject that you're not really sure about, and that is to research it. Is yes. there life after death?
Yes.
There's way too many of us on Mother Earth right now that know that there is. Well, I'm sure there's at least 80% of the world that believes.
Well,
that's all it takes.
Yeah. Now, June Elaine, was Jerry the first spirit you ever heard talk to you?
No.
Really?
No, and this guy, Jerry said, oh, there's going to be a lot of things coming out this evening that nobody else knows. Jerry, come on.
That's Jerry's humor, and
yeah,
go ahead.
Well, he and I both had a meeting last night about just how much we're going to share about our personal life. And there isn't one thing that we won't share. Any question anybody has, no matter how personal it is, that he wants me to remember that it's a loving gesture, or people are just need to know certain things and curious, and so we'll answer whatever question they have. But the first time I ever saw something, I was 8 years old, in a town in Vermont where I used to go in the summertime and visit my grandparent, my aunt and uncle and my grandmom, and she had put me to bed, and it was a farmhouse, and I was cozy and comfy, and all of a sudden appeared at the foot of the bed. What came together turned out to be Jesus.
Wow.
The reason I knew it was Jesus is because my grandmother used to read the Bible to me, and she had pictures of Jesus around, so I knew what Jesus looked like. And I was terrified. I just, I don't know. I saw that happening, and it scared me. And I hid under the covers, and I never ever told anybody ever again about that, ever, until I was 60, what, 4, when, of course, Jerry came to me. So here we
Okay.
are, fast forward.
So that part of you remained silent for all those years.
Remain silent.
Okay. Okay. Wow. So from what I understand, Jerry helped you to really connect with the spirit side of life, correct?
Jerry absolutely did.
And how did he do that? How did he do that?
Well, it took him almost 2 years. He explained to me that he was going to help. He told me to go get some help with mediums, actually, to understand, because I was going to doctors.
Ah,
I thought I had snapped. I thought because, and Clarion and Lori will understand this too. It's not hard to say that word snap,
right.
because actually, I went through a point where I thought I was going to take my life because I wasn't going to live without my husband. I didn't want to live without Jerry. Remember now, it was a 30-year marriage. I mean, forever. It seemed like he was everything to me. Not like we never had fights or anything or arguments. I'm just
Right, right.
um, like Claire Ann and Lori would understand a twin flame relationship. Mother and son, well, mother and son, yes. I have 2 sons, but this was a twin flame relationship with Jerry. And I could
And
hear, I mean, I heard him, and he said, "Stop going to doctors. I'm here. I need you to please listen to me." And I didn't know what a medium was. He said, and so my daughter-in-law joined in and said to me, "What's going on with you, June? You keep staying in your room. You hardly ever come out. You're scaring me." Because I was in my bedroom all the time talking to Jerry. I was hearing him, and I wanted to be with, well, at least I thought I was. I didn't know if I was crazy. So I told her, because I love her.
yeah,
And I said, "Well, I'm hearing Jerry talking to me." And she said, "Well, let's," lightly said, "Well, let's go to a medium." I said, "Well, what is that?" And she said, "Well, let's go find out what's going on." And she took me to a medium in Massachusetts, and there you go. She said, "Your husband is here with you." And she gave me, there was no doubt in my mind, she gave me evidence that he was,
right.
especially when she told me that he was showing her he was going back and forth on his wrist. He was showing her like spun gold back and forth on the wrist. Well, I have a bracelet that looks just like that. It's like spun gold on my wrist. Oh, of course, at home I wasn't wearing it, but I'm just saying. Jerry picked it out, helped me pick it out at the time.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a lot. There's a lot. And I asked her why, what am I supposed to be doing? She said, "June, you don't understand. You have gifts, and he wants to help you hone those gifts. You then she started explaining about the pineal gland and all of that as things are waking up, and I was starting to waken, and if I chose to do this. And so, I mean, I cried all the time, but then being human, I was also nosy. So I'd make it my point in the evening, not so much in the daytime, but in the evening, I'd just lay in bed being quiet to see, is he coming tonight? Is he going to come see me tonight? Is he going to come? And he did. And I could hear him. And I said, "What are we supposed to be doing?" And he said, "We're going to build a bridge. Just pretend you're building a bridge. I'm on one side of, like on a mountain, and you're on the other side. And we need to build a bridge to meet in the middle." So that's how, and I mean, I would do anything you know, the doctor said I wasn't crazy. So, And the medium said I was able to hear, and he was around me. So what would you rather do, ladies? Sit and cry for forever and ever? All I could do. I would
Well,
rather see what this was about.
right, right, right. Now, June Elaine, the topic here is about marriage between the two worlds. How does that relate to the two of you?
Our marriage is no different than Claire Ann Stevenson.
Uh-huh. Or anybody else?
There's only one difference.
What?
All right, there's two. All right, Jerry. There's two. One is I can't, okay. So he's saying she can't see me, and so Claire Ann can see her husband.
Okay.
I can't kiss her. He's tried to kiss me from the other side, but I have felt him touch my cheek with his hand, the back of his hand. At times, I've felt him graze my cheek, and I went to a medium about that too. And then, other than that, there's nothing changed. I don't see him, and I can't kiss him or hold him. However, everything else is just the same. We go
yeah.
everywhere, even grocery shopping, everywhere. We do stuff.
Could you explain a little about that grocery store? What happens to the grocery store?
Well, that's how he started training me, was when we went to the grocery store.
What do you mean?
I could hear him when I was grocery shopping. He used to grocery shop for me because I didn't care about it.
Ah.
But I mean, it's like I really don't want to do that. I'd rather stay home and clean or whatever. Well, I'll go grocery shopping. He said, I want you to listen to me, as much as you can. I'll tell you what aisle things are down and what to look for. And I'm like, okay. The only thing I found out about that little deal was, as I was in training, was that I was talking out loud in the supermarket and people were looking at me. And I was talking to Jerry. I mean, that must have looked insane. I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I asked him what I could do to break myself from that. And he said, don't. You don't have to break yourself. Go ahead and get a Bluetooth. And I said, what is that? I didn't even know what that was. A Bluetooth. Stick that in my ear and talk. They'll think you're talking to somebody.
Right, right. Well, I gotta say this. I still feel like there's still a lot of people who
Hi,
don't
Christina,
know.
honey.
Hi, Christina. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. And for some reason, ladies, I'm not getting a lot of showing me who's come in. June, you can see more than I can.
I can see Claire Ann sitting there beautifully. And actually, I know that Graham is right there with her. I know he is because one of the reasons I know is because he's got her sitting to exactly where she should be sitting. And he's to my right. There's also he wants to show off that fireplace. And this is like the perfect, I'm so glad this is being recorded. Hold on, Walter, just a second.
Hello, who did I just see? I think it was
up to the right. And then of course we have Walter here, which is Lori's son. He's one of my guys. And oh my God, if I don't tell his mother this, Lori, I need to talk to you, hon, about going to the Berwick Library. Walter wants me to make a donation in his name. Can we talk about that sometime?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to make a donation, either books or whatever you think, Mom.
Okay.
He's been after me for days.
Yeah, he can be a really cute pain in the ass.
He's a pain in the, yes, thank you. Jerry.
So Jerry, what do you want to share that shows that you're still married to June Elaine? What can you add to the mix of this conversation?
He said, first of all, his answer was, we don't have enough time to 10 years into my dedication to my wife. And she's had many mediums give her evidence she didn't need that. It took him 2 years to teach me how and believe that this is happening to me. But he said the best way, okay, Jerry. He said the best way for anybody to understand what Jerry and I have been through is to read our book. That's why we wrote a book, so that you can have the beginning. It's like a very small book. It's a slim book. It's only like 90 something pages. You could probably read it on an airplane flight or something, but it gives you a ballpark idea of how the heck this happened. And it's probably happening to you people as well. And if it happened to her, this sounds familiar. It's a love, Jerry. Okay, Jerry. He just said it's a love story. It's a love story. He's, oh, okay.
Can you share the title for everybody, just in case there's people who don't know what it is?
Yeah.
What's the title of the book?
It's,
Jerry or June, somebody?
it's called Love After Life, Bridge Between, I'm sorry.
The
You
birth
just
of a
threw
medium.
something at me that threw me off. It's called Love After Life, Birth of a Medium. He said when he got to the other side, he said to God after a while, or source, whatever we want to call.
Yes.
If you want to call him God, you call God source, wherever Jerry got. And he said it was almost like walking through a door.
Oh,
He said Graham, Walter, all our loved ones, Mr. Earth Angel, are not in heaven. They didn't go over the Rainbow Bridge. Christina, you
Mhm.
know your dog Romeo is around you, honey.
Yes.
And he said it was like at some point, he kept saying, when he passed, in my arms, by the way, he was in my arms when he passed, he kept saying, I'm not dead. Can you hear me? And after a while, it was like, of course, I didn't hear him. I was crying and whatever. They led him into another dimension. So they're still supposedly on this plane, Earth's plane, and into another dimension. And he said he went over there and he said, and I thought, this is Jerry's, forgive both of us. I have to give the messages. First of all, if Jerry gives me a message tonight, I'm going to give it to you people the way he's saying it. And not necessarily me saying it, but he said in his dry wit and humor, I don't want to live without her, because he considers himself, our loved ones don't consider themselves the word dead. They don't like that word. They say it's like your fingernails running down a chalkboard. Don't say that. We're not dead, thank you. They deserve some, I don't know what the word is right now, but yeah, so Jerry's saying, um, uh, it's a story that's unfolded and unfolding all these years. It's been a little rough for June because she was taking care of her mom, who was in her 90s, and trying to help me, and a lot went on. So I guess people would, if they're interested in about this love story, they probably have to read the books and see if they can't, which are coming out.
and there's more books on the way, right?
There's two more. Yeah.
At least, sweetheart.
There's at least two more. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Interesting, the word death came up, and that Jerry had commented in regards to the word death, and that's not a dead. The word dead, I guess, is even better. They're not appropriate words for someone who's in spirit. And I crossed my mind earlier today during my day, different things I was doing, that there are a few mediums out there who actually say that they talk to the dead.
yeah. We might have to change those things around. Jerry said the one wish, if he could have a wish, is that in a wedding ceremony, when they say until death do us part, please take that out.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what he said.
Yes,
And
yes.
oh, he didn't finish. Okay, he said to tell you, he had a talk with God. He met Jesus, and there's some more humor. you'll probably get a bit of humor from Jerry tonight because that's the way Jerry was here, and he
Yes.
brought it with him. One of the things he didn't believe in, and his mother made him go to, church, Sunday school.
Yeah.
Gosh, for 9 years solid. He had this pen that was draped on his suit.
Okay.
And he had to believe in, and he wasn't really a believer in Jesus.
Mhm.
He's not going to mince words. And so, of course, he said, can you imagine when he got to the other side and he met him in person, he's saying. And Jesus said, I understand that you, and he said that my wife's not going to believe this. And the other thing he said was after a while, he was trying to teach me. He went and had a talk with God. And he said, God, I don't want to live without her. I don't want to live without her, which is, he's considering living, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful place and all that. But he wants to be here with me in the
Right.
human form.
Right.
That can happen. Cannot.
So what kind of things do you two do as a married couple?
We
Between
eat
the
together.
worlds? Pardon?
He tells me they can smell us cooking. We plan just like, what's easier to do is to say, what don't we do?
Oh gosh.
The difference between my marriage and Christina and Clarianne is no difference. I have serious talks with Jerry. I have joking, laughing, loving. I have, I had after about a year or so, a talk with Jerry about, how do I say this? Love making. Is that
Yep.
possible? And how would that happen? We
Yep.
talked about that. He said it is possible. Of course, it wouldn't be anything like human and human. So one evening I asked him if I wanted to see what that was like and feel that. And I got to say, I got like halfway through what was nothing more to me than to tell you the most amazing, I'll never forget it as long as I live. Just a cozy, loving, I was laying on my side and I could feel him come up behind me. I could feel him, not human feel, just this wonderful presence that he was with me. And I could feel this warmth in my heart. I could feel a warmth and energy down below, but there was no, it was just a beautiful feeling. And I got, I don't know if you want to use the word nervous or whatever, but I couldn't be still.
Oh.
So it was, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And see, I mean, I was innocent. I didn't understand. So I went back to my daughter-in-law and I said, I need to go see that video again. And so I went back to her. And when I went in, I said, would you please ask my husband what he was doing last night? What was he doing? And she asked, and she said, he said he was trying to give you what you asked for.
Okay.
And I knew, but that was the last time I ever experienced. And so we don't carry on like that, everybody. And there's a lot of people that don't even care, I'm sure, but there's also a lot of people that I'm sure are interested. Can we have sex with our, and it's perfectly fine. It's a loving, I'm married to the man. I even researched this subject with other people. And there was one medium that has sex with her husband and the other. Whatever, that was her. I decided not to go through. But yes, we can. And Jerry, yes, thank you, honey. He just said he wishes I have to say the word sex, but he doesn't really care for that. He said, who invented that word? He said, it's about love. It's a loving relationship.
Right.
It's love and it's
Right.
energy. He said, How do you make love with your wife? If it is an energy or your lover or your whoever you're with, it's energy.
Now, June Elaine, did you dress up a little, even though we can't see you visually here?
Yes, I did.
Uh, I want to share. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes, it's fine because
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me start with the piece that I have, and then you can add to it. All right. A week ago, right after the show I did, and I believe, yeah, I did the show last week, and we did visitations from our loved ones. People share different ways that they know their loved ones are around. And at the end, I wasn't quite sure who I didn't have anybody scheduled. Okay, I had nobody scheduled for the show. And for people to know here that Jerry and I have a very strong connection here
oh
too.
my
Not
God.
like June Elaine and he does, but in a different way. And
Best
Goodness.
friend.
right.
Is that clear in?
Yeah, I said, thank goodness.
and so what happened last week was basically I said I like to let people know about the upcoming shows so they can come back. And I said I'm not quite sure who's going to be on, but I'm going to have a guest and it should be good. Well, after the show, I had a few things to do at the house night, and I ended up doing a little shopping. Now you got to remember here. Now I'm 3 hours behind all of you. The show starts at 6 o'clock here in Arizona. So when the show's over, it's only 7. It's like, that's fine, you know? And on my way back from my shopping is about a 25-minute drive to my home. I heard somebody suggested to me to invite you, June Elaine, to be a guest on my show. And somewhere along the way, I realized that Jerry was around. And he literally gave me a message of what the title of the show was to be. I pulled over so I could get verbalize the information. Actually, I called you, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yep, I called you, and another piece that he brought into it was he mentioned how he was going to help you find the appropriate outfit to wear out of your closet. That sounds like a husband to me.
Well, Jerry wasn't like that. That's what I find interesting. Like he said, when our loved ones pass, Walter and Christina's little sweetie pie, Romeo and her loved ones and uncle and Claire Ann's son, they learn when they get to the other side, they have what Jerry described to me as a life review or they get to see some of the things they wish they had said to their loved one.
Yes.
Or he said, what's even worse, he said, some of the things they did say to their loved one, they wish they hadn't said. They have to, yeah. It goes very fast, but it's, yeah. One of the things that, so yes, all right, honey. So what Jerry's saying is get to the point. Yep. So I had a date with Jerry one evening and I put my hair was, I had my hair up. I wore my hair up. I had bangs in the front and I had put fresh flowers in my hair for the date. And when I got there, he looked at me and he said, instead of saying how pretty or don't you look nice or how whatever, he said, where are you going? To San Francisco? Like, are you going to wear a flower in your hair? He thought, I guess that was his way. He was only 20. Let's see, I was 29 and he was 23. Or a 23-year-old. I guess he thought that was cute. And I was so embarrassed. I was really embarrassed. I didn't know what to. I didn't know what to say. But I mean, you could tell that Jerry thought it was pretty, but he didn't know. He didn't know what to say. And he's a jokester. But he said he wishes to this day. Now, he looks back and says he'll never ever stop appreciating his wife, what she's wearing, and now he's actually designed jewelry for me. He's designing clothing. He's designing shoes for me. He helps me put things together from the other side to show how much he cares, and he wishes he had said something different. That's one hard lesson, he said.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, I've got some, obviously, I know you a little bit, June Elaine, and so I'm just gonna feed you a few pieces of information. Why would I want to mention Judge Judy?
That's because Jerry and I, because he loves to watch Judge Judy and Judge Marilyn Milian, I believe it is. There's a couple of things that I don't watch television. If I do, it's Forensic Files or something on Channel 36, some kind of whatever. But every day he likes to watch Judge Judy, and he'll help remind me. He reminds me to sit and take a break with him, sit down and watch it with him. Can I watch it? Take some time. And, yeah, so we watched Judge Judy pretty faithfully for 10 years. Yeah. Judge Marilyn Milian, and he likes to watch. Oh, all right. Also, he said it's not just watching because she makes my head spin.
Yeah.
He said that I am going, and she don't, and he wants to just sit and be quiet and just sit together. And also, he'll ask sometime at night if we're watching something, popcorn. Can we have some popcorn? I'll go, all right. You know, I'm the one that's got to eat it and watch my weight, but you want to taste it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, husband and wife. Yeah, I'll cook the popcorn for him. It's not for me. I eat it for him too.
Right. And he likes it flavored from what I understand, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So there you go. Husband and wife. I don't know. What is the difference? I don't know.
Well, I obviously can't, I mean, you two go out for a ride in your car, which I need to say is convertible. Didn't he encourage you to buy the convertible?
I always wanted one since I was 16. And my first convertible came after Jerry passed. About a year after Jerry passed, he he said to get in the car and let's go for a ride. And he took me to this place, and I saw this Chrysler silver Sebring convertible. And I said, what are we doing here? And he said, that's your car. That's my gift, your convertible. I said, I can't do that, Jerry. I can't afford that. He said, yes, you can. And I said, I don't have a good enough credit because of all the cancer and everything, you know, our bills and all. He said, I'm going to show you where to get it. And oh my God, he told me to go to a specific credit union, and I
Yep.
applied for he said, try it out. And it was crazy. And I went into this credit union and I told them how much they wanted for it. And I got the loan. I mean, I can't believe I still have that car. Yes, I've had to put a rebuilt engine. She's got a new engine in her, and she's still going. Yeah. And he said, if you're having a rough day and you're crying or you're sad or blue or you're missing me and you can't hear me, go put the top down if it's a nice day and go for a ride, and I'll be there and you'll hear me. And it works.
Yep. 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 And what, something I like to say about spirit, and I think everybody listening can understand this in some way or another, because they're in a highly evolved state. They're in the light, they're on the other side, they're not in the physical body. They can get information from the past, the present, and the future. And they can see how things are going to unfold. Just kind of like he gave you the information about the car, about the convertible.
I would never have known if it wasn't for Jerry. No, I wouldn't. And even though it's an older vehicle, that's not the point either. That car, I will never, ever get rid of that car. She can be retired, but I'm not getting rid of it. And he said not to anyway, because it'll be worth some money for the animal someday, because that car belonged to the New Hampshire Medium.
Ah, yeah. And speaking of New Hampshire Medium, and that is a term that you've acquired. And how can people get in touch with you and learn a little bit, maybe get a reading sometime, or learn a little bit more about your story and Jerry? What's the best way, June Elaine?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is I'd love to have them join me on June Elaine on Facebook if they're on Facebook, because then
Good
they
idea.
can become a friend. I've got a little over 4,000 people in there that I absolutely love them. I've gotten to meet, not all of them, of course. I have like Lori and Clarion and you, and maybe I think I have 10% of those 4,000 people that follow me, so to speak. Is that the word? Us, Jerry, I think it's also. But it's June Elaine Evans, or you can go to email, which is loveafterlife, LLC at AOL.com. Or I am going to have a website up here. I'm going to have a YouTube channel up here. And yes, at the request of my husband, I'm getting out. He's evicted me from the house. He wants me to go to Virginia. He wants me to take up Jerry. I know. He said, how many times has Clarion asked you?
And Pamela too.
Yeah.
Well, and Pamela at one point had an open invitation, and because my travel when I came out to Arizona from Massachusetts, it wasn't conducive for me to stop. It would have just totally slowed me down. Yeah.
Well, I'm going. I'm coming down, Clarion. There's two reasons. One, definitely want to meet you in person. I want to give you a hug because I know, I trust, and I believe with all my heart, when you hug me, you will feel Graham. And the same with Lori. I believe that. And that's a whole other topic, maybe for another show, Pamela, about that. But if you ever saw the movie Ghost, Patrick Swayze asked the medium to please let them give a hug. And I have already done that several times. A police officer that was murdered in Massachusetts, I went over 2 hours to get to his wife, just for this police officer to give her a hug. I gave her a hug and held her. I asked her, I whispered in her ear, I said, can you feel him? And she said, yes. And I'll never forget it.
Well, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
And they can do it. And they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. I want to tell you, Clarion, the fireplace. You got Graham's picture in front of it, right?
Uh-huh.
From this view, it is merely a big square of light.
I know. Yeah.
A big.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's the cat.
He's always with me.
Cat? What cat? Thought I
My
heard
cat.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Pamela, I hope
Yes.
at some point in time we'll do a show some evening, show and tell, I call it, where we can actually, Clarion, the fireplace has a story. I already know that because Graham told me most of it. And Lori has the cat, which show and tell. The cat's there for a reason, trying to say something. And there's my girl, Christina. Hi,
In the
sweetheart.
dark. Oh, now you can see Graham.
Well, and
Can you see him now?
Yeah, you can see him now.
Hi,
Okay.
handsome. Hello, I love you.
and interesting that that screen, that picture of Graham, that's come up recently too between another conversation. I won't go into it, but Clarion, yeah, it's come up a few times.
Yeah, and it was, yeah, that's an amazing story. The man that created that had never done a face before or something on this large of a scale, and it
Right,
took him
right,
over a year.
right. But
Wonderful.
yeah, the
Yeah.
picture's showing up now. The picture's showing up now.
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. I want to just take a moment here and just let everyone know what they're listening to is a radio show / broadcast. Okay, I'm calling it a radio show.
I hear
It
you.
is Love Never Dies, and that I, as your host, Pamela Marie Edmunds, host and producer, I guess I want to say, the show we weekly put it up on Zoom. We get a Zoom room and we record it like we're doing right now.
Fun.
And
Mhm.
and what ends up happening is once I figure out the editing, still a whole new project, is it will be posted up on YouTube.
Yes.
And
Okay.
for other people to know that there's already a couple shows up there. Matter of fact, Claire Ann, who has been chuckling a few times here, who's in our presence here this evening in the audience. We have a show from her. I did another show, and we will be adding them to it, plus some other communications that Spirit has brought through me and brought to me, put it that way. The show itself, everybody wants to find out what's going on. I do have an email list that I'm in process of getting together. And basically that comes from, if you go to my website, there's a little pop-up. It asks if you want to be in a newsletter. You just put your email and your name there. But also my website shows the listing of the different shows, how to connect, because each show has a different, what's the word, different number, meeting number, and a meeting password. Those are that number is posted on my website, PamelaMarieEdmunds.com. And that's Pamela Marie Edmunds with the letter U. And I did just say a moment ago, both shows, and that's the first time I've said anything about both shows. And I feel it's very important. I do 2 shows a week. This show here, Love Never Dies. And I also do one called The Pet Detectives. And The Pet Detectives is a unique, I want to say, culmination of information. Like last week, we had a wonderful, she's a teammate of June Elaine and mine, and she is a pet detective, and she's from Australia, and she shared about what it was like to be an intuitive pet detective, how she actually gets visions and other information through her intuitive faculties, or if you want to say psychic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas other people receive from spirit, receive from a particular guide, the list goes on. So tomorrow night's show should be interesting. Just want to let you know. It's going to be, and I don't have the exact words in front of me, but it's going to be, how did a dog named Earth Angel become my spirit guide?
That little sweetie. Hi, Earth Angel.
Earth Angel, I just want to share. Earth Angel passed to spirit will be a little over 4 years ago. But what he did just before that was to get mommy moved from the East Coast to Sedona, Arizona. And he kept me company, cross country, but he since then now is working with me from the other side. So that's going to be an interesting story for people. So, okay, June Elaine, do you or Jerry have something else you want to share? We've got
Yes,
another 2
Jerry
minutes.
does. I don't. Jerry has something he wants to say to people.
Please.
He mentioned the chat room. Can anybody see the chat besides me?
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
I saw it pop up, yeah.
Okay, because Walter is like bugging me to go to the chat room and be able to say something to his mother. And I said, I don't know how to spell that. Walter is such a card. Jerry wants to ask people out there, what is the difference between our relationship? Well, of course, it's 10 years now, but Claire Ann's husband was, he was in the service, right?
Yes.
Okay, were you separated? Did he have to go off to?
He was in Kuwait for 6 months.
Well, there you go. How'd that feel? Jerry wants to know, how did that feel, Claire Ann? And how did you keep it together?
Well, we did email each other, and I wrote him a lot of letters.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not easy.
No, I grew up in the military and moved all the time, so that might have helped a bit.
Yeah. Like Jerry said, it isn't a whole lot different between Jerry and I, except it's very long, although these years have flown by, that he and I found a way, like Claire Ann just said, she and her husband kept in touch. So aren't Jerry and I keeping in touch? Only it's through my gifts and his dedication.
Yes.
And he said the heart doesn't, okay, Jerry, all right. The heart doesn't know how to draw a line.
Okay.
You're not going to separate Claire Ann and her husband. They'll find a way. And nowadays, I would be a bit surprised if Claire Ann wanted to play a game with her husband. She could suggest that she sit in one room, he sit in another, if he'd go along with it, which I don't know. I don't think he probably would, but
He would.
and she would try to send him a message. I'm talking not Claire, but she could think of a subject. It could be a glass of champagne. Let's say a glass of champagne. I want a glass of champagne. Keep thinking that. Tell him. Talk to a soul, Jerry's saying, and see if he gets it.
Yeah, he'd enjoy that because he's actually sort of wanted to do that already. He'll say, see if you can tell what I'm thinking.
Well, there you go. There
Because
you go.
he says he thinks I sometimes read his mind.
Yeah. And Lori, one of the things that's helped Grant. Wait, you guys, don't. Okay, that's a little fast. Walter. Okay, Walter is saying the thing that helped him a lot with his mother, keeping in touch with her, has been humor. She hasn't forgotten. She knows the feeling. Right, Lori?
Well, it kind of happened today. I was having a nice, quiet moment without grandchildren or my parents, sitting outside. The water fountain is bubbling, and I had the radio on, and I was just, chilling. And a song came on, and I went, oh my God, I remember singing this to Walter, and he'd be going, oh my God, would you just shut up? And it was called Let's Hear It for the Boys. It's old, so we're talking, 30-something years ago. And all of a sudden, I just get this picture in my head, and I can hear them like bickering, Walter and Graham. It was my idea. Like, no, shut up. It was mine. And they were like
Oh,
shoving each other out of the way to get the spotlight.
Yes.
That's what I got this afternoon.
Lori, that's great. You felt both of them?
Both of them. Yeah. Well, I think Graham popped in a couple of weeks ago when I was having shrimp tempura for dinner.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
That is so neat.
I love it.
Yeah. It wasn't a feeling that it was anybody that I knew yet. So I said, oh, it's got to be Graham. Because
Please
Walter
keep
doesn't care
going.
for fish.
Please keep practicing. Yeah,
Oh, always.
well, Pamela, I think the questions that people would ask Jerry and I, what's the difference? I think he's trying to get to the point is what isn't the difference,
Okay.
really? He's dedicated to his wife. Graham, Walter, Mr. Earth Angel, Romeo could go off anywhere they wanted to over there. And they have libraries and oh my gosh, there's no end of what they could become ascended masters if they wanted to. They could do whatever they want. The point is the dedication is that Romeo stayed with his mother, helping her. Walter chooses to stay, not only for his mother, he's telling me, but for his, is it nephew, Lori?
Yeah, he's got 2 nieces and a nephew.
Right. And Claire Ann as well, and of course Earth Angel. They're not leaving.
June Elaine,
Yes.
there's another animal here. Jake is here. Jake came in because
Oh,
Oh,
hi,
Dad
sweetie.
was going to be here. Yes, you and Jerry going to be doing the show, so he wanted to come in as one of your fur kids.
Hello, sweetheart.
And Jake knew Jerry in the physical very well, right?
Yes, we bought him when Jerry knew he was told he was going to die, as the doctors put it. It was a horrible way they put that to me. They said they came out of the room. They did some surgery on him to check out what kind of cancer or whatever. And I was in the waiting room, and when I saw the doctor, he come blasting through the doors there, the operating room, and I was standing in the hall. I stood up, and he said, "Your husband has stage 4 cancer outside, lung cancer outside," whatever. I didn't know what that meant. And he said he'll be dead in less than 6 months.
oh my
And I
God.
just leaned up against the wall. All I remember is somebody coming over to grab me because I started going down the wall. I thought I was going to faint. I mean, dead in less than 6 months. I thought, how dare you talk to me like that, first of all. Second of all, it's like, ugh, it was just horrible.
That's a lack. That is a total lack of.
And it was horrible. And I made an appointment with him not too long after that. And I did exactly this. I got the appointment. I went in and he said, how he could help me or whatever. I said, oh, no, you don't have to help me. I said, you told me my husband would be dead in 6 months or less. And he said, I'm sorry, I can't do. I said, excuse me, I'm talking. I said, we'll see about that. And I looked at him and I walked out. And Jerry lived 3.5 years
Wow.
with my help and loving care.
Yeah.
So anything's possible, ladies.
Unfortunately, some people have a difficult time dealing with the possibility of death,
Yeah.
and they can be kind of cold with it. And that may be a form of protection. I don't know why I'm talking for the doctor. It may be a form of
Yeah.
protection.
I don't know.
But
I'm grateful that that I know in this room, as I look on my computer screen and I see all of you ladies here, I know that Walter's with his mom. I know that not only is Romeo with Christina, but is Eddie Uncle Eddie?
Yes, yes.
Well, he just can't bear to not put his nose in here too.
I'm not
And
surprised.
yeah, and Graham and Earthing, our loved ones are with us. They are, and that makes me happy in my heart.
Yeah, I want to add one loved one who's popped in to see what you're up to these days. Your sister Donna.
Oh, hi, sis. Oh,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
And I feel like she adored Jerry in a very unique way. There was how can I say this? She liked his humor, and
Yeah.
she liked the fact that he looked after you.
Absolutely. She's about the only one in the family that my dad had a hard time with accepting Jerry because he was 23 and I was 29 and divorced with 2 children. Oh my gosh.
Well, Jerry turned it all around. So, but this has been a wonderful show here today. I like to call it show broadcast. Love never dies, and with June Elaine Evans here in the physical, and Jerry Evans on the spirit side of life. Do you have anything else you want to say, Jerry, before we close?
He wants to tell you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. He wants to he wants to say to you, first of all, thank you. He wants to also say to you, thank you again for everything you've ever done since for my wife and for me. The times that he came to you, you're the only medium, and he's talked to at least 6 or 7 in the
Yes.
past, 10 years. And he said, you're the only medium that ever took him up, like he wanted you to take pictures of things in Arizona for his wife. And you went off with him. You actually went and took the pictures and did things. He said, you deserve, oh, okay. Okay. So he's sending you a hug. And he said, he said, of course, stay tuned. This is not done. He's not done.
Oh,
He said he's going to end it by saying he's about to do something even Houdini couldn't do.
Right. So, thank you, Jerry. And
Thank you.
Yes, there's a fondness of trains and cabooses and whatnot. And Jerry, over these past years, has led me to those for me to share with you and letting you know that Jerry is around. So, yeah, love never dies. Exactly. That's exactly what this is all about. Our show this evening, Marriage Between the Two Worlds, and with June Elaine Evans. And people can contact you. What is your email again, dear?
It's Love After Life, LLC @AOL.com.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
And people can connect to Jerry through you, right?
Well, he has a little mini fan club, I want you to know. I will get phone calls here at the house, and they want to know if they could talk to him. They want to know if they could talk to Jerry. I feel like, well, slap me in the face. Don't let ego get to you, June. But they actually called to ask him about their love life and all kinds of things. And Jerry's very good at it. So it's like, okay, you're still paying me though. You're going to pay for that service.
Isn't that nice? He's still looking after his wife.
Yes.
And I know he's assisting you in many ways through your work and the way of giving you ideas of what you can do to promote your work, who you are.
He said, everybody on the screen tonight, everybody in this show here tonight with us will be a star. You're going to be a star, is what I heard. It's like if you wanted to, you could be on television.
Awesome. So I want to thank you, June Elaine Evans and Jerry Evans, for being on the show here tonight. And I want to thank all the wonderful visitors in the audience.
Yeah.
Actually, you've got, I can see Lori right now. I know Claire Ann's here. I know Christine is here. Is there somebody else? Is
I
that
don't
it
think
for the
so.
moment? That's it for the moment. But we got to say, we've got, in from the spirit side of life. Who else?
Arthur.
Yes, yes. We've got lots of presents from the other side. The animals, mentioned Jake. Earth Angel was my dog. Let's see. Walter is
Yes.
connected to Lori. Graham is connected to Claire Ann.
Mhm.
And
her mother.
And her mother, yes. And who is it that's connected to Christine? I apologize. I've
It's
almost
okay.
got it all. I've almost got it all.
Yeah, Romeo, I'm sure.
Got it. Good. That was good. So everybody, thank you for coming in. This will be posted on YouTube. And so we can start getting these recordings out in the way of sharing them with other people. Please let people know they're available. Please bring them to my YouTube page. Excuse me, actually it's called the channel, which is interesting because I am a channel. The YouTube page is Pamela Marie Edmunds, okay? And my other show, tomorrow night show, the Pet Detectives, is also got a place on there. Arthur has a place in there. There's a number of different communications that are being put there. So YouTube, we get more people by you. What's the word? Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Subscribe.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Christine. Subscribe. Oh, he's cute.
That's
Romeo's adorable.
Romeo. That's
Yep.
Romeo.
Subscribe. Please subscribe. Please let us know that you like what you're hearing. And the other term is share it. One thing about YouTube, each and every video that gets posted on there has its own URL. All you need to do is cut and paste it from the top into an email and say, oh, I enjoyed this, or post it on Facebook. So anyway, thank you, everyone. And I want to thank everyone from the spirit side of life, too. And till next week will be myself, your host, Pamela Marie Edmunds, a Evidential Medium. Will be doing a show called Messages of Love from Heaven, where those who come and join us, I will be giving some sort of a brief message from a loved one to you from the spirit side of life. It's the one time of the month that I do that. So it's a great show, and looking forward to it, to be with you all. So take care in these times. Be safe, be well, and bless you all. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, June.
God bless everyone. Okay, going to end now. All right.